The sun rose and set. Seasons passed. People got up in the morning, went to work, celebrated holidays, took vacations, and went about their daily routines. In short, life went on for everyone except a young golden-haired girl named Sara. She slept as life continued for the rest of the world, unaware of the events taking place around her. 4 years passed. She got older, grew taller, and went through the changes people do as they grow up, but she wasn't aware of any of this. She missed of all the birthday parties Rihanna celebrated at her side as she sat holding her hand. Her lovely face remained relaxed and expressionless as her friends visited day after day, hoping that Ollie had found a way to reverse the spell that Brachus, their mortal enemy, had placed upon her. Yet, after all this time, she still slept, and as always, Thomas was there. Thomas sat in a chair, sunlight warming his face as he stared at Sarah's sleeping form. It was strange watching her sleep year after year. He knew that Ollie had done the only thing he could to ease her suffering when he put her in this deep sleep. Her every waking moment would have been misery if he hadn't stepped in to help her. Brachus had invaded her mind and made it impossible for her to communicate with her friends. She couldn't touch them or listen to them without experiencing intense pain and nausea. Worse still, it seemed that she was absorbing the powers of the other children when she came in contact with them. She had been afraid and alone when Ollie stepped in and placed her under a sleeping spell. Ollie said she was safe in this sleep state. She wasn't aware of anything, but Thomas wasn't so sure. He had been here at her side every day since she had been put to sleep. He had slipped in and out of her mind and felt her in there. He could hear her sometimes, in the distance, just out of reach, and yesterday, the first time in years, he was sure she had been aware he was there. Just like the first day when she had pushed him out of her mind. He was also aware there was something stalking her, lurking outside the edge of the protective barrier, waiting for an opening, an evil presence looking for a way to get to Sarah's soul and destroy it. He was not going to let it happen. He was so close, he could feel it. He was going to have to get through to her soon before it found a way to break down the barrier. Ollie was able to keep Brachus from accessing Sarah's soul, but it took a lot out of him. He was fighting an enormously powerful being and trying to maintain order in a chaotic land, while maintaining a haven for Sarah's wounded soul. The Garen were conducting raids on the villages, always looking to find a way to increase their numbers. They would take anyone not strong enough to resist. Unfortunately, that meant they were taking a lot of children. Once they had them, they began the process of training them to hate all that they had been and turn against their families and friends. Ollie and Thomas were making daily raids on the camps of the Garen, taking back all of the captives they could and driving the enemy away from populated areas. At the end of the day, he always found himself sitting right here, next to Sara, entering her mind constantly on a path they shared many times in the past, hoping to finally make his way to her. He was preparing to make the trip again, when he heard the door open behind him. Turning toward the sound, he watched Rihanna enter and make her way to Sarah's side. Time and grief had aged her lovely features. There were a few grey hairs mixed in among the blonde, Fine lines were present around her eyes, and she had a general air of sadness that hovered around her. She had never gotten over the fact that she hadn't been able to protect her charge from Brooke's spell.